And we back.
We back. Yes. Oh, hey now. Hey now.
I don't know what beat I'm dancing to. Right.
We don't know what to do. We're going crazy. Turmoil.
I don't know. Coronavirus. Damn party.
So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you are officially in the Divas Den. We decided to do something a little bit different this time because we are all on lockdown. Yes. So of course we're not in our normal studio. If you guys have, become accustomed to us being in there because we can't. So we're coming to you live in our houses. I'm over here in my apartment. Precious is in her apartment. And I got to get used to there we go. Precious is in her.
I know. I'm like, okay, you over here. Yeah. Backwards. The head.
Goodness, yes. Wait.
Wait.
Girl, whatever. But anyway, we here. And if you guys know how our show goes, of course, we talk about all of the trending topic. And if we have any major hard-hitting topics, we discuss that as well. And today, we actually have a special visitor who is near and dear to my heart. We have Tyrone, who is my cousin. Love him to death. He will be joining us shortly and just talking about how we can maintain our mental stability while we are locked down. Precious, how you doing over there, girl?
Life is life. Every day is a song. Every day. Yeah. Honestly, I've been doing okay. I realized I haven't been out of the house more than one time within the past week. I'm one of those that is considered high risk, so I try to stay inside as much as possible. I do get some vitamin D from the balcony. I stay active by doing my exercises. Try to have smoothies and light stuff throughout the day. So that kind of helps with the mentality. I think if I were if I made myself sit down and just veg out, then I would be more like, oh my God, what's happening right now?
Right.
But I think I'm trying to keep a routine so it feels normal. Mm-hmm. How about you?
I had a hard time at first, but now it's almost like this is becoming the new normal. And it just seems like a very long extended weekend. Yes. Like you said, what helps is possibly, going out for walks, just going outside just to get some fresh air every once in a while and learning new hobbies. Like now you're helping me to edit. So
yes, editing queen.
Yes, we're starting with that, picking up books and, like I said, just trying to get outside. Yes, all the books, and just trying to keep my mind busy because I'm a busybody. I work crazy hours. I'm here and there. I'm always in my car. So to go from that to just sitting in the house and watching movies, you can legit lose it, Yeah. And I mean, you get tired of the news. I stopped watching. I'm over it. I'm one of those people where I'm just like, you know what? Just tell me when we can go back outside. I'm over it. Once I start going, then I know. I might need to check myself in, but right now, but I'm over the news. I don't want to hear any more about it. And I'm just like, you got to keep yourself entertained. You have to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, the good thing is a lot of stuff that we do, and you hinted at it with the editing. A lot of stuff we do is remote. Right. A lot of the film stuff that we do is creative and remote. So I think this will be a good time to immerse ourselves in that in a way we haven't been able to do before because of outside obligations.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I mean, of course, we want to hear from you guys. While you are watching, you can be interactive with us. You can, go ahead and comment and let us know how you're doing. And if you're not doing well, let us know. A lot of people are having a very hard time being locked down and being in the house. People are having issues with their spouses, their kids, their pets. And they're completely over it. So, just check in with us. Just give us a quick hello. Hey, I'm here. I'm doing okay. I'm not doing okay because that's what we have TJ for, to kind of tell you hold on. Let's reel it back. Shout out to my mom. Hey, girl, I see your comment.
Yes, the triangle trainer herself. Y'all, if you need to get on your fitness journey while you locked in the house.
And that's another thing. If you guys, are missing that lifestyle of working out, make sure you're checking in with your trainer, or checking in with whatever gym that you're with, because a lot of people do have virtual workouts. For instance, my mom is one for Camp Gladiator. They transferred completely over to Zoom. So now you can get your workouts that you would normally get throughout the week, there. And you still have the camaraderie. You still have, the friends and everything like that joining in. Yes, it gets a little lonely because you're by yourself, but it is. You got to do what you got to do.
I will say this: if you're in an apartment, I'm on the 3rd floor. I personally don't care if I'm making too much noise when I'm working out, but I try to be a little bit, what's the word? Nice. So I go out on my balcony and I do all the high jumps and the high knees and the jumps and all that stuff out there. And then the smaller stuff I do on the inside, so that way I'm not making too much noise.
Right. So you just have to do what you can, just to keep yourself busy. One thing I have noticed, and girl, I don't know if you've noticed it. Listen, I am so tired of some of these people on social media. Monte, Annie, girl, how you doing, girl? How you doing, girl? I am so tired of these people on social media just creating any and every video possible. What y'all not going to do is use my time to sit here and produce some type of junk. Okay, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I understand you bored. I understand that you have platforms available like TikTok and Instagram, and YouTube, and all that. But you know what? Everyone is not a content creator, and you need to be comfortable with that.
Yeah. If you don't have the innate skills, you can learn them. And then when you're trying to learn them, it still doesn't come to you, then don't do it. Don't do it.
But that part. Girl, I gotta get my
Can I cough? I don't have a Rona. Let me. Okay, back. I was trying to clear that out.
Goodness. Hey, Michael, I love you too, cousin. Thank you for joining. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Y'all ain't got nothing else to do, so you might as well go ahead and jump on in. Yes, Monte, I am TikTok out. Like, I just learned how to use it possibly like maybe a couple days ago, because I don't know what day we're on anymore. But if I see one more savage challenge, if I see one more baby come give me some again.
1, 2, shimmy out. But people be like, I'm like, no.
I'm so tired of that. Please, let's do something else. Like anything else. And I'm just over the different challenges. Like the one we did was fun, like the music challenge and stuff like that. I'm here for that. But the choreography, everybody have a seat. Everybody. Oh, hey, boo.
Hello, Mr. Drake.
You see me? Okay. But also, I need to know if you guys are watching it. I just recently put Dre onto it. I just recently put my cousin onto it as well. If you have time, which most of you do, Tiger King, Netflix, watch it. You will thank me later.
Let me tell y'all how she told me to watch the damn Tiger of the King of the Tigers. And I said, okay, let me watch this.
Mm-hmm.
When Carol walked up and floated into that camera, and then when the first music video came, what is that? There are no words. And just when you think your mind is wrapped around what's happening and you can figure it out, it gets worse.
It gets so much worse. Like Monte said, it is probably the most ghetto thing I have watched in a long time.
I'm glad we ain't in it. We sprinkled in there, but we ain't in it. Okay.
Look, if y'all are looking for something to watch that is legit, just you would never think that it just like goes in the direction that it goes in. And I'm not big on endorsing things because I'm like, but please watch that. Please.
The sad moment though, I knew it was gonna come when they kept saying was when they were referring to the person. I was like, what is that? I ain't seen him. And all of a sudden you see it. I'm like, oh shit, I did not want to see that. It's too much, y'all.
That part. we're not going to drop any spoilers here. I'm not going to do that to y'all. I mean, there's a lot of them, but we're not going to do that to y'all. Please take some time to watch that. So that's something that you can do in the meantime while you're locked down and, just trying to figure out life. But please take that time to watch Tiger King on Netflix.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I couldn't binge watch. I will binge watch anything, but that I gotta do one episode at a time.
No,
because there's way too much going on. No, one episode at a time.
Whatever. but anyway, another thing that we want you guys to do is, look, there's nothing wrong with Audible. There's nothing wrong with, your good old traditional books.
Edibles.
From your lips to God's ears, girl. But we can only tell you so much. So let's hear it from the expert. I'm going to go ahead and cue up TJ. So, he can go ahead and let you know, like on a serious note, how to deal, because we're joking here, but we know a lot of people are dealing with depression during this time. A lot of people are dealing with their, significant other for extended amount of time that they wouldn't normally do it. And it's hard to make that adjustment. And Precious, I definitely want to hear from you as far as that adjustment with you and Troy, and you guys who are watching, how has it been with your significant others? But let's go ahead and cue up TJ. TJ, you there, boo?
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Of course, honey. Of course.
Nice
y'all
to
were
meet you.
kiki and you said that it would be serious on this side. I don't know. I'm kind of stir crazy, so I don't know how serious I'm gonna have to be today. No. Yeah, it's a very trying time. So I appreciate being here to talk about the ways in which everybody is dealing with this situation.
Definitely. And just tell us a little bit about how you guys are dealing with things, because you're with your significant other and you are also in New York, where a lot of people have a lot of eyes on you guys right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy out here. We've been on lockdown for about 3 weeks now, working from home. Both of us are working from home. One of the things that's been most challenging, and I imagine that a lot of people out there are experiencing this too, is working at home together, or even being in the same space for extended amounts of time together. You spend like 40 hours a week at work. Now you spend that 40 hours with your partner literally right next to you. So I think a lot of people are Precious, like, you. So yeah, like a lot of people are not used to spending that much time with their partner at all, and especially in a short amount of time. And also, it's almost mandatory at this point that you spend this time together, that there isn't a choice. So a lot of helpless feelings are coming out, not necessarily related to being around your partner all the time, but just being on lockdown and not really having control over the situation. So for me, ways that I'm really combating, just thinking about how it's affecting me, is noticing what my norms used to be before this, and then what are they now, and if I'm holding on to some of those same routines. So I try and keep in the morning, like as if I'm going to work, keep that routine the same, even though I'm at home, like I'm literally going from one room to the next, but I try and keep it the same.
And how important is that as far as routine goes? Because I know a lot of people just become listless, or they'll just sit on the couch, or they won't necessarily keep that routine because they know they're not going anywhere.
No, it's like, I don't know, like if you turn on the media or news or whoever else, they keep saying this over and over again to the point where it's getting a little tiring to hear, routine. But it really is very important. Like if you don't have a routine, then the days kind of just meld together and you're like, is it Thursday? Is it Wednesday? Like, where are we in time and space? And the routine really keeps you set, not only so that you know what day it is, but also so that you can have a gauge as to whether you're falling off of certain things, so that if things aren't lining up the way they should or the way you used to, then you have a gauge as to, well, maybe I'm like not feeling myself lately. Maybe I am feeling a little bit more depressed because I'm not on my routines as usual. So that's something that could be really helpful.
And for people, I'm sorry, go ahead, Precious.
What advice do you have for people who are, I guess it doesn't matter what age, but people who are more susceptible to this virus, people who are considered high risk because of their pre-existing conditions, what advice do you have for them to kind of not feel more of an outcast during this pandemic?
Mm.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of my clients have been talking about. A few of them do have high risk conditions like asthma or just pre-existing respiratory conditions, and they've talked a lot about how they'll be on the subway, or just before we were on lockdown, they'd be on the subway, or they'll just be walking down the street, going to the grocery store, and they'll cough, and then people freak out, right? And it makes you feel even more isolated because you're just dealing with your asthma. You're not dealing with COVID-19, right? So I think something that can help like deal with that isolation and that feeling of otherness is being connected to people who like give you value and reason, like and meaning, and really nourishing those relationships and staying connected to the people that are meaningful to you, rather than giving too much weight and value to the people who clearly don't know anything about you or anything that you're going through. So I think that's a way of staying connected to those intimate relationships to feed you.
Exactly. And then for people who are alone, you know, or people who are battling with depression and maybe their partner hasn't seen those signs yet and don't really know what to do, how do you, or what do you say to those people? How do they get, you know, to a point where they don't end up in that deep, dark hole?
Yeah, it's interesting because with a few of the people that I'm meeting with who have been battling depression for a while now, they're actually describing this period of alone time as alleviating, actually, because before they would just stay inside and like kind of be alone on their own because they felt like they were escaping the world, but they feel a sense of peace because the world is in it with them, in a sense. And also they're kind of being mandated to be home, so they don't want to be home any longer. They want to be more active. So I think for the people that are alone, not everyone is experiencing that, but I thought it interesting to say that not everyone is experiencing this aloneness in a negative way. But I think that what's important for people who are alone, who are experiencing depression, is to always be connected. Like it really is about being connected to the people that are in your life. And if there are no people in your life, then I think that being connected to different resources like the National Alliance on Mental Illness is a great resource. They have a national hotline where you can call in, and then it's broken down into different states where they have chapters in different states that offer support groups. A lot of their support groups right now are virtual. So it's a way of being connected to support. For couples, when someone experiencing their partner.
Wait, did you hit us with the real therapist? Like,
I saw that.
Girl, I'm in it. I'm in it. You know I'm in it. You see me too. You're like, she in it right now.
Okay. You tried to be smooth
I'm
too.
feeling my oats, Kim. Let me be.
Look, and scene. Come
right?
And
I'm sorry.
No, seriously though. But when people no, it's so hard though, because I think this period of time, it's easy to get into serious mode because it's such a serious issue. And people are experiencing so much anxiety related to this. And if you already had anxiety before this, girl, it's like tenfold now.
Yes.
Yeah, this looming uncertainty that's really casting this shadow on what's happening next, right? So for couples, I think when you see your partner kind of just in it and not really able to like get out of it, and you're starting to see those small signs of like that they might be off their game, I think sitting down, if you can, to have a real legit conversation of like, hey, how is this affecting you? Because it's affecting me too. I'm noticing XYZ. How can we talk about this? And just being straightforward. I think a lot of couples, when they see this in their partners, they kind of dance around it because they don't know what to say or do. But being able to be straightforward about what you're observing is so important, because they already feel it. Like if you see it, they already feel it. And to open up that space to say, I see this, I see you, and we can talk about this. It's okay to talk about this. Is a way of building trust in the relationship and is meaningful for the relationship to move forward. So,
and I think that's a good thing to really bring up as far as like having a discussion about it. Because for me, with me and my boyfriend, I completely shut down. Like I legit was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to go anywhere. Like, there's so much uncertainty right now, and I'm scared. You know, bills are due. How am I going to pay this? You know, there was so many questions going on that I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. And I think that when people get to that point, you know, sometimes their partner doesn't know how to handle it, or they're not quite sure. They take on some of those feelings and think that, is it just me? Did I mess up? And it's like, no, like, people legit are going through it right now, you know? So eventually, like, you know, we did come out of it. We had a conversation, and I felt better once I had the conversation. But sometimes you do feel like you're in it by yourself. And Precious, I don't know about you guys because your situation's a little bit different, but how are you guys coping with being in each other's spaces?
Well, it's a good thing we like each other still.
I mean, that helps.
We've grown together. We've been together for 13 years. We've been married for 8 years. So we've been around each other a lot, and we tend to be homebodies on the regular. But now it's a little bit different because rather than just declining an invitation, there are no invitations because no one's doing anything. So it's a little bit dealing with that mentally, compartmentalizing that in your mind to break it down and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is reality. However, we can still do things to still spice up the routine, the regular routine of mundane life right now. For instance, our anniversary was on the 24th, and all the plans to go to the restaurants, trips, all of that thrown out the window. So we said, instead of just staying in the house, let's venture out. Let's take a family walk in the morning with the dog. Let's go to an Italian restaurant, pick up some food. Let's go to ABC liquor store, get something to drink, and then come back home and then watch the shows instead of just staying in the house and binge watching all day. So we did change up a little bit of something. But I do notice that with my work that I do on the computer in my space and the work that he does in his space, sometimes we can overlap and invade each other's spaces. So what is your advice for couples that are in maybe an apartment? They're not in a house where they can go to another room or to another floor. They're in an apartment and you're trying to do your best to kind of stay in your own lane.
Yeah. So I live in a 1-bedroom. So like you're saying, like I can easily go into another room if I need my alone time. I think what you've described is very important, like being able to schedule the time that you're spending together and being able to let each other know, okay, I need a moment to be by myself now. Leave me alone. Don't come near me for the next 2 hours. So I think being able to be okay with the separateness, even though you're together, to be working parallel together without having to have that interaction, because you need your alone time. You need your corner, you need your space. It can't be just every day, every hour together.
Right.
Then you'll get overwhelmed. You'll just feel like you're just becoming one person at that point, and that's just not healthy at all. So I think being able to have a discussion about, okay, let's schedule in times that we can be together. Let's schedule in times where we're maybe doing like a virtual double date with somebody, right? That's a way of also being connected to other people outside of just your partner, and it's also with your partner as well. So, but being able to say, okay, from 5 to 8, that's my time, and I'm gonna be doing me, and you can do you. And then we can reconvene at 8 to see how things are going so that we can eat, we can do something together, watch a movie, go out for a walk. But being able to have your alone time is so important during this, even though there's so much alone time right now as well.
Right. Speaking of that, that can be paralyzing for people who are going through loss and are grieving during this time. I know, for instance, my family just experienced the loss of my uncle, and dealing with the mentality of not being able to go home to be with my family during this time, or even at the funeral, not being able to hug each other. That's something that kind of messed with a few people. I know his kids, my cousins, felt like they didn't do their best for him because everyone couldn't be there. But in reality, they did the best that they could because that's what it is right now. Or, you know, my cousin, who I actually just spoke to her, she just lost her husband in December. They just got married last May. So now she's home all the time, in the home, and he's not there. So what is your advice for people who are grieving, whether it's an immediate loss that just happened within the season or something that they're coming to terms with now that they're home by themselves alone?
Yeah, that's so difficult. Loss at any point in life, or regardless of the circumstance, is very difficult. And I think when under this circumstance, it really, talking about that anxiety, it confounds that even more, because people are now looking towards a future without that person, which sound for them will be uncertain, where they're just like, I'm not sure what my life will be like without this person. And now on top of that, I don't even know what life is like at all anymore for like the near future, right? So I think being able to set up for yourself just expectations around like it's okay to be in the here and now and not worry about the future and just sit with those emotions for right now, because it really is about reflecting on what you've lost. And people often just rush through dealing with loss and not really deal with it. And everyone deals with it in their own way, but oftentimes people rush through it without even acknowledging what has happened. I think what might be an unfortunate plus in this situation is that people will be able to reflect on what they've lost in a more meaningful way and really be attuned to what that means for you. Whether it's reflecting on the items that are left behind and what that means, being able to kind of organize things, organize life to look differently and set the expectations of what that will look like now. But there really is no clear-cut answer to how to deal with this, given that the circumstances are just so unusual. But I think doing a lot of what you would normally do to deal with the loss is really important. Just organizing stuff, going through the things that are meaningful, reflecting on just the impact that the person had on your life, while also being able to stay in the here and now, because dealing too much with the future will bring just too much uncertainty and anxiety, and that's just going to be crippling.
And how about the people, because I'm pretty sure this is a popular question, people who have kids and they're tired of their kids. They've had it up to here with these kids.
Yo, the kids though. Oh my goodness.
Go ahead and throw the pets in there too, because I'm done with my dog.
And the pets. Oh my goodness. My cat has been getting on my nerves like crazy.
Come get naked.
Oh my goodness. The kids, you know, the kids want to be out of the house just as much as people want them out the house. So, you know, it's hard because they don't want to be there either.
Right.
From what I've heard, Ray, he's a school teacher. He's an educator. He works for high school students, and they don't want to be home with their parents. They want to go to school. So, but the parents want them in school too. So it's really hard. I think the parents who are tied to their children need to figure out a way to similarly schedule time for their children to be elsewhere, like in a corner somewhere dealing with this stuff. Like, they need to be some time away to try and fit in that norm, to try and make it as normal as possible. Like, parents are not used to seeing their children all day long. So having time where they're not near you, where they're engaging with you, of course, because they're in your home, but that there's some separateness from it. I think that's the best thing. Also, I think this is a great opportunity for parents to get to know their children a little bit more too.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, there's so much time, there's so much energy that children spend at school, getting to know their teachers, getting to know their peers. This is an opportunity for parents to get to know their children in a very deeper way and a more meaningful way. So there's a lot of parents, you mentioned TikTok earlier. There's a lot of parents who are doing TikToks with their kids as a way of creating, you know, a shared space to have fun in and just find levity in this situation. So I think being able to engage in activities that bring meaning to like the family interaction is really important during this time. Although there is time that they need to be over there. They need to be over there.
Yeah, go to your room and sit. Look at yourself.
And of course, like I said, guys, if you have any questions, you can always put them in the comment section and let us know. You know, there's some cool features with this program that I want to play with. So, like, don't just sit there and watch. Become interactive. So if you have any questions for TJ, let us know. But then also, TJ, I want you to let people know, how they can get in contact with you, because I'm pretty sure at this time people need therapists. They need someone who they can just kind of talk to and release things out to that aren't their relative or significant other.
Yeah, definitely. So anyone who's looking to get in contact with me can contact me through my website. It's therapywithtyrone.com. And oh, go ahead, girl. Yeah. Where you can just send me just your question, your information. If you're looking for a therapist in your area, you can use services like Psychology Today or ZenCare, ZenCare.com, where you can search for therapists in your area, whether you're insured or if you're looking to pay out of pocket. They're also, like I said before, the National Alliance on Mental Health, NAMI, which you can look up. It's NAMI, NAMI. They often have support groups and chapters in different areas, and they also can connect you with services, mental health services, or therapists if you need it. So, but you can contact me if you need anything, questions, comments, anything like that at therapywithtyrone.com.
Wow. But Tyrone, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for coming and talking with us. Thank you for stepping into the Divas Den.
Thank you, Divas. Ooh, am I official diva in the Divas Den now?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. The crowd now.
We appreciate you so much and hope that you'll be tuning in.
Yes, of course. Wait, what?
Tuning in next week, because we're going to keep this going, y'all. We are trying to help y'all as much as possible, and really hope that you guys can just get a little ray of sunlight through this whole entire ordeal, because this sucks, but we will get through it.
Yeah. Yes. Go for a walk if you can. Get out of the house if you can, even if it's for 10 minutes.
Do something.
Do something. Do something, girl.
And also make sure you guys are following us. If you don't know by now, here are our handles. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow me, Precious.
Oh, the Precious one. Yes, yes.
And also make sure to join us next week, because we will have Jewel Unique, who will just be letting us know about different, skincare routines to make sure that our skin is nice and glowing. So when we come out of the house, we can be boom, bam, boom, looking all types of good, So we will be talking to her next week. And of course, if you guys have any questions, make sure that you tune in, interact with us, let us know how you're doing. Just check in with us. Let us know if you are okay. That's all we want to know, And that's all I got for you guys. What about you? Y'all good?
I'm good.
Okay, everybody good?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for your insight, your wisdom.
Aw, thanks. No problem. Anytime.
You guys are so awesome. Once again, thank you guys for tuning into the Divas Den. We will be back next week, and I hope you guys will be too. Bye.